Hello, welcome pen friends. Welcome to my early impressions review of the Dominant Industry Ink Muddler. This is a little tiny, very small glass nib pen tool, and it is marketed for glitter fountain pen ink. So it's got their glass nib on one end and your little stir tool on the other end. I first heard about this on Marilyn Darling's channel, and he was talking about how it's very small. You know, it's extremely small. It's tiny. And so I kind of thought about it. I looked it up, and I've been looking into it for a while. And I talked myself out of it a couple of times, but I thought, I think that would be really cool. I'd like to try it. And then when the ad money came in, I thought, why not? Why not try it? And then, if it's a case that I don't like it, or I've got something to say about it that, people should know, then I'll just do a review. But it turns out it's very balanced between the pros and cons. So I wanted to come on and do a little review. And so that's what I'm doing. We're going to look at it real closely. And then we're going to do some comparisons between some other tools that I have. And then we'll write with it. And then I'll talk to you about what I liked and didn't like about this little glass nib pen, which is just kind of adorable. Turned out to be irresistible. I had to try. I had to get one. And I got mine at Van Ness Pen Company. So I said, let's see, what was my goal in getting it? Well, it was really just for fun and out of curiosity. So here we go. It's hard to really show it, but we'll try it. I can kind of see that I'm going to need something with color. Maybe the back of this red booklet might help a little bit just to bring it out. I don't know. Because it is so clear. It was hard to photograph as well. I had to put a darker paper under it. But it's got a rather fine glass nib, and it's got the little grooves in it. Very interesting. We'll compare it to the one that I have in a minute. And then it's got a little tiny, it almost looks like a spoon, but not quite. It's just more of a stir sticker end there. So, or sticker, did I say sticker? A stir, stir stick end, I guess you could call it. We got one of those to compare it with too, except that I couldn't find my glass one. So, first off, it's very small, and it turns out it weighs only 7 grams, and it's almost 9 centimeters. So let's see, let's get the little handy. Oh good, this is a color that will show up at least. Yeah, so it's just shy of 9 centimeters, just 2 millimeters short. So I guess I would make it 88 millimeters, approximately, as close as I can get with my eye there. So the other thing about it is it's very narrow in the section, and the section is 6 millimeters. So they say right on the box, this product is designed at an optimum length for ink mixing and is not suitable for extended writing. So they're not trying to say you're going to write, pages with it or anything. As it is made of glass, there is a risk of breakage. Please handle with care and keep out of reach of children. Yes, and cats, because one of my really nice glass nib pens bit the dust because of Coco and me, because of my negligence of leaving it out. And Coco got after it. It was a nice toy for him until it broke. So, yeah, it comes in this little box. Let's open this up because it does come packaged really nicely, and it has a little cover that you can keep for the end. So that is a handy little, protector for that nib end, little silicone piece and paper and the little box. So yeah, I just was looking at that. So it's interesting that it would be marketed for glitter ink. For Shimmer Ink, because I used glass nib for all kinds of different inks, but I guess really that does make sense because Shimmer Ink is harder to clean out and all of that. But it's funny, I'm still trying to think about that and see if maybe there's some significance that I didn't catch. Okay, so it's glass, and it's got, the one end for stirring, And we'll try that. I have never really tried that. I always just agitate my sample vial or my bottle. But it's interesting to have that as an option. And I was even thinking that some of my bottles were a little bit big for that, but some of them aren't. So, and wouldn't you know, I can't find my one Dominant Industry ink full bottle right now. And it should be real easy to find because it's in a little drawstring bag, but I can't find it. Okay, so this is Dominant Industry is a brand from South Korea, and they have inks too, which I have tested several different ink samples from Dominant Industry, and like I said, it's marketed as a shimmer ink tool. So let's kind of do a couple comparisons here. I think that will get us in the realm of things a little bit better, maybe. So we'll lay it right here, and I don't know where to start. But I think maybe it might be with my one other glass nib pen. I only have the one, and it does post. It's a Moon Man glass nib pen. And as you can see, it's got a different end. It's not got the spiral grooves. It's got more or less vertical grooves. Very interesting. And it's quite a bit. This one I would classify more as a medium, and this one as a fine nib, if I were to classify it at all like that. But and there's really no comparison, since posted you get a really big pen. Oh, my best actual comparison for size is with a long standard international cartridge, because it comes pretty close to the length of a cartridge. I thought that was kind of funny. Okay, so then what else do I use as dip pens? Well, the most common for me right now is the Sailor Hokoros, the ones where the little nibs stick in, and I've done a separate video on this, so I'll link it at the end. And this one happens to be their fine nib, so that's a good comparison. And this one, of course, has a, it's not a glass nib, it's got the steel nib, and it's got a little reservoir, and then the little, the end that you can just pop it into. So I really use these a lot. I have 4 of them, like a 2.0, 1.0, and then a Fude, and this fine one. And they're my go-tos, really. When I'm not doing a little bit longer sample, when I'm doing a little bit longer writing, I turn to my little Serendipity Mini, which kind of compares with size, except that's where that ends, because it's got an actual fountain pen feed and nib on it. So that gives me a different, a whole different world. And then, of course, my other Serendipity, which I keep a medium nib on that one and a fine one on this one, which has the full length. And then I got out this one. I have a couple of dip nib holders like this that I've cracked. So that frustrates me. Yeah, I don't like that. But anyway, I have used this quite a bit in the past with little Kaweco or little number 5 nibs. And I like it. It's for quick dipping and just testing an ink. But it does get to me that these have, cracked. I have 2 or 3 different kind of ones like that have cracked. And then I got the Kaweco out because of how small the pen is, and, unposted anyway. Just for the heck of it. But I really don't have anything that compares to this little tiny glass nib pen. Interesting, because I think the reason is because after I broke that one, or Coco and I broke the other glass nib pen, I didn't try to even get another one, because it was so disappointing to me. I hate when things break like that. Anyway, I also pulled out my little Whataburger stir sticker, because I keep this handy at my desk. One, I think they're cool. This comes out of a little, why do I want to call it a sticker instead of a stick? I don't know. That's just what's going on, I guess. But this comes with the coffee, and I just, I don't get Whataburger coffee very often. I make mine at home all the time. But if we're on the run and I forgot, or then I do. So this kind of reminded me of it because of the end, but it isn't really, it's not rounded and it's not very impressive. But I did use it to do a little swatching, and it worked as a swatcher, so that was like, oh, okay. That's cool. So I think that kind of puts us in the realm. This is the tiniest of everything except the cartridge. And now let's get in the ink journal and let's just do some, experimenting with this right on camera and see how much of a mess we can make. Okay, so here's some shimmer ink. It's a Hipponoto Kiwi ink. I think it was V1 or something like that. And it is a shimmer ink. It's hard to see that down in there because of the color, but it's definitely some shimmer in there. So let's see if we can stir it and just see what happens. And then, whoa, if I can open it. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's no joke. There we go. Okay. A lot of times Manuel ends up having to open these ink bottles for me. Okay, been a while I guess on that one. And I do have some water here that we can use. Okay, so this is what I had already done, and what I can tell you is I was wanting to do both, stir and then dip and write, and okay, so I had to remember to have water here because it's too small to be using both ends without doing anything about it because you just get ink all over you, which I love to do, but too much of a good thing is too much. So, so I was using this end, the little stirring end, to do the little swatches, and I was writing with this end. And at first it seemed like it was very dry, but it depended on the ink. And I think it is a very fine nib. It's way finer than the one on the Moon Man. So that's something to keep in mind. If you're already kind of used a Moon Man, you kind of know where that falls. But let's see if we can stir this. Okay, so we're going to just kind of stir around in there. Oh, am I making a mess already? No, not yet. Okay. Ooh, how fun. I bet you that water's going to turn pretty. Look at that water. That is like really pretty water. Okay, so I've got my little towel down here. One of my friends local friends gave me a whole bunch of these sort of microfiber towels from a company that was all done with them. And so they've been washed and everything. But okay, so before we get talking too much, I got to do my dipping to see how this ink does. Okay. It's funny because my other glass nib, it'll be dripping right off the nib. So that's a difference too, where I have to usually do a little tapping or, a little bit of careful, or I'll have it dripping on the paper. So some people may really like this better because of that. Okay, so we've got, okay, this one, it doesn't feel as fine. In other words, it's probably a thicker ink. And so with a couple of these that were lighter, like this is not a shimmer, the J.R. Bond Casis, it's not. And so it probably was falling off the nib. There's Kiwi. Oh, well, I missed out on doing my swatch while I had the ink on there. I was so excited to see the pretty water. How silly of me. Oh dear, I'm a mess already. Oh, look at me. What am I doing? Oh. Oh, I'm like a child. My goodness. I have made a horrible mess. How did I do that? Did I hold it up and let it run backwards or something? I'll have to watch the video to see what I did. But now I'm very pretty. Anyway, I'm going to be very pretty for a week or two probably. Okay. So now I'm interested in going back, mixing again, and good thing I have an apron on too, because I'll be wiping my hands. Okay, we're going to do this again so that I can get my little swatch. Okay. Yeah, never mind me. I'm messier today than I was when I did this page, so that wouldn't be a normal person, I'm sure. Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. To just be able to do a nice swatch. And that's always fun. Of course, I could make it a circle or something. I don't have to make it messy like that. Wow, I really got the water messed up. Okay. And this, I know this is a really pretty shimmering. I don't know. I find it very small. and I'm messy with it. What I was doing the other day was I somehow was holding it up here and getting into it. But of course, I think what I did today was hold it the wrong way and let it funnel down on me. And that's silly. That's asking for trouble. Good heavens. Okay, let's cap that bottle before we end up with it everywhere. I wanted to try, another thing, I wanted to try in a sample vial, since that's true to me. I keep thinking my hands are, but it's not like leaking or anything. It's not coming out. It just stains, so. We'll try a sample vial, and there's the, whoops, the shimmer's down in the bottom there. So, we'll see how it does with that. Alright, now I don't know, because of course it's probably going to leave a little bit of shimmer down in the bottom of a sample, because it's rounded. But I think we'll still end up with enough. And this time I won't make that mistake. I'll go ahead and get it. Oh my gosh. If there's any way to make a mess, I'll find it. Okay, I gotta get rid of that because I really want to write with it too, so. Okay, a little bit stayed in the bottom, but not very much. So I think it's capable of, we'll find out better once it dries though. And that's when you see how much shimmer particle you got. You don't know until it dries. Okay. So now that I've dried it off, that's okay. We'll use this end to just move it around a little. I'm all right with that. Yeah, okay, so I'm just messy, that's all. See how I got ink way up there? Maybe I don't want that. Although that's a beautiful color to go with my nice purple. Okay, this one was Charbon. Okay, that's not bad. It really does write nicely. Kyanite. And, you know, I was confident that it would, because on Marilyn Darling's program, he was writing really nicely. Kyanite du Nepal. Oops, that's an E. N-E-P-A-L. I feel the feedback from it quite a bit more. My other one is smoother, that's all. But I've used it more, too. And I would imagine that even a glass nib, oops, there's a cat here, pen, you would feel it more at first. And with this one, at first there was a sweet spot, but now I think I've kind of rotated and written with it enough that, oh, I hope that one holds up. I hope I don't break that one, because it's the only one I have, and I probably won't get another one that's glass. Okay, let's see here. Let's put this somewhere safe. Oh, and that's how it turned out. The water got even more like purpley. Let's see. Okay, yeah, we got plenty of shimmer on that. Plenty of it. I hope you can see that. I'm having trouble seeing too well, but okay. I don't know how much of this I need to do. But it writes really well, and I think I have medium to small hands. I wear a medium glove. This is tiny for me, really tiny. And yet it's doable. I can do it. I would probably appreciate it even more if it was like, if I was going to a little pen meet and I was trying to keep everything really small, and I wanted to try out an ink just quick, just to see. I think then I appreciate it even more. So let's see what we have to say here. First I need to fix this. My handwriting is terrible on my paper. That's why I'm not showing it. But I think I just need to get over that, because I did an entire like report card type thing. I think it is definitely time to talk about what I liked and what I didn't like. So that was here on this little report. What I like is it's cute. It was so cute that it turned out to be irresistible, and I had to try one. And because I had the ad money, I thought, I'm going to do this. Maybe it'll be a case of I'll buy one so you don't have to, or maybe it'll be that I'll use it forever every time I turn around. I also like that it wasn't too pricey. I did get mine at Vanessa, and it was $15, but I've seen it anywhere from $8 to to 15, and I think Pen Chalet, which if I'd been ordering it something else, I think it was 12 there. Don't quote me, but that's what I think I saw. It's widely available, so I like that. Like when these Sailor Hokoros first came out, they were awfully hard to get your hands on, and so then they would sell out and everything, and that right now it seems that you can find these. I find it's useful. I mean, it will stir, and it has the nib end as well. But I can stir with just about anything, and I like to just agitate, so my little Whataburger stick is cool. It's very small for take-along, so I would think people would like it for that. Although I'm thinking, like, how would I carry it? I probably would carry it right back in its original box, because anything else I think would probably be asking for trouble. So probably I would take it in the original box with the little nib protector and everything. And then, oh yes, and the piece de resistance. It definitely solves the Colorverse issue. Let me show you. That's what I was going to mean. That's what I was meaning to do to begin with, because I realized kind of toward the end of exploring this, or not end, I'm not finished with it, that it fits in these little Colorverse bottles, which Colorverse is a different brand that's made in South Korea. But it did kind of strike me as, oh, okay, so I don't think I can even get my other glass nib pen in this one. Let's see, maybe I can, barely. Yeah, okay, yeah, but it's a very touchy situation. So I can get it in this one, but I cannot get it in the 5mm one. Now, I don't have ink in this one, but I can show you that you can definitely get the little ink muddler in this one. And now I have ink all over here. Okay, so this is the Moon Man. All right, now you get to see the Moon Man is definitely, maybe I needed to get rid of some. The Moon Man Mini glass nib, that's bordering on a broad nib almost. It puts down an awful lot of ink. So it's different, but, and I could get it in this one, just barely. But most of the pens, most of what I try to do, like the Serendipity, just won't go in. It won't go in right. And so I thought that was neat. And these I have a few of. They're 5mm Colorverse. And you can easily easily get it in there. Let's see. I wanted to find out, though, if you could. Nope, you can't put the stir end in the small one. Okay, so there's that. But you can definitely put this one in. And let's try the other one for the stir end. I'm betting yes, that the stir end will go in this one. Is that clean? Yeah. Yeah, so you could go ahead and use it in your 15mm Colorverse bottles, which are a real problem for people. Who want to just work with this small bottle, you know, and you've got it and you don't know what you're going to be able to put in there. Let me see. Am I going to prove myself wrong? Yeah, no, I don't like putting it in there because everything just comes out, and that doesn't work when you're wanting to go straight down like that. So Serendipity, I just have to recant it into something else whenever I use that, which usually ends up being a sample bottle because it'll accommodate that. So that was that number 6 of what I like about this little ink muddler. Whoops, and now it's dirty. And now for the other side, for the didn't like so much, it's got such a narrow section that I don't know where to be. Like I literally end up sliding down onto the grooves and getting inky. And this inky, this is because of stupidity, but I was doing this even the other day when I wasn't having problems. And then it's a very fine nib, so I said not consistent for me. That's rough. That's being rough on the pen, because this was like with Brandy Dazzle. It was too like it was not doing well. With J.R. Bond Cases, it wasn't doing well. It did fine with the Birmingham Shower Scum. And then it started to do fine with the Colorverse Blue Dragon, Glistening Blue. No, that was just the stir stick from a Whataburger or a hamburger place. Okay. The nib looks fragile. Okay, I did put that. It does. It looks terribly fragile, like if I decided to, but maybe it isn't. It's just an impression. So, and it is an early impression. I said scratchy nib. That's very rough because, okay, it depends on the ink. We've seen that. We've actually seen it. Look how it did with that J.R. Bond, which it's my favorite shimmer ink is J.R. Bond inks anyway. They're very, very good. And that put it almost up there with the Moon Man. Messy, me, I put. So I would end up gripping on the grooves, yeah. So I guess you can see, like, to me, there are so many pros and cons that it's so close. It's like, it's not likely that it'll become my favorite tool, but there's enough about it that makes it useful and good that it really would be hard to decide. If I saw this review and I hadn't already purchased one, I'd be thinking, oh, I don't know, you know. Yeah, so I put down keeper, if so, why and why not. And I put, I'm not sure how much I'll use it, except as a paintbrush alternative. Okay, so maybe I'm thinking I'll use this end more, because I like my Moon Man glass nib. The other thing that might happen is I might get more used to that finer nib, and it might actually be better because knowing that the Moon Man puts down so much ink, it used to bleed through quite a bit of my papers. I don't think it's going to do. This is 68 GSM Tomoe River paper at the very end of my notebook that's full, just about full. And I put, who would like this? Okay, so I think ink people who like to test lots and lots of inks will like this quite a bit. And people who like to have the Colorverse in these small sizes. I noticed that Dromgools has this too. They had it in stock, but I was ordering something else from Van Ness, so I wanted to, that's my store, basically. So knowing that I can use it now, I don't know that I have any ink left in any of the little tiny ones that I had, but it goes in the 5mm one, and at least the nib end. And both ends go into the 15mm. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to switch the camera around so we can chat. This is hard to do with all this mess here. And so I'll see you on the other side. There, so that's some of my thoughts and my early impression review on that Dominant Industry Ink Muddler. I want to call it something else, and I don't know why, but I do. And it's interesting because for me, the pen that this one really competes with is this Sailor Hokoro. And I love these because, you know, it comes in different nib sizes. This is the fine, which at first I didn't think I liked, but when I put the ink reservoir on it, I started to like that a lot. You know, it holds enough ink now to write a little bit. And I'm not writing letters with it. This is really very much the same idea. I use it for quick tests, and I love the fact that there's a stub nib, and the Fude nib kind of simulates a really broad nib. So this has my heart. It's my number one. The only thing I would do different, I would not purchase the white barrels because they do kind of, well, I cracked one, and I've had close calls on staining these, and so the gray would have been better. I just thought the white looked prettier, but it does if you don't crack and stain them. So that's, you know, it's hard for me to, you know, think that the same or better about this little one, because I could break it, and because it's, you know, you're kind of stuck with the nib size for sure. And I do seem to really struggle with the size, even though it's cute as a button. I mean, you got to admit, it's super cute, and it's very portable. Yeah, I like it a lot. I'm not sure about its future, with how much that I will actually use it. I've never thought about stirring shimmer ink, and maybe there's a reason to do that, but I've always just kind of agitated it, and I've only had one problem with that. I had a Van Diemen's bottle that apparently something was wrong, and I didn't have the top on right, and I made a terrible mess. And thank goodness it was over by the sink, but I mean, well, it was a mess, a little worse than this one that I made. And so that was because I was trying to agitate and it wasn't closed right. So now I really check before I try to agitate any shimmer inks. But, you know, I like the idea, the concept of this pen. I think someone could make a little bit bigger one, and maybe they already have. I mean, I don't go looking for pen stuff because I get so, what's the word, you know, tempted by just thoughts in my head of what I might like to have, much less going shopping, so to speak, online or whatever. I don't do that right now. I have everything. I have an alternative or a way to test inks, you know, 700 ways to Sunday. In fact, I've got a really expensive, that kakimori nib is, I guess that's how you say it. It's a brass one, and I want to love that one, but I'm so irritated with it, I don't even use it or show it on camera because I just can't make it right still. I can barely do anything with it depending on the ink, and so consistency-wise, I don't have those problems with the Sailor ones or with the Serendipity or even with my glass nib pen, my other one, my Moon Man, because the glass nib one does lay the ink down really strong, so if I'm working on paper that I don't want to bleed through, that could be a real problem. It'll bleed right through Tomoe River paper unless I make sure that I get the excess ink off enough of that nib. So hopefully this helps you know whether you would fall under a category where you would like to purchase one of these, and maybe you can find one for $8, but I had seen somewhere that they ran from $8 to $15, and I ended up paying the full. But that's okay because I was ordering a little small bottle of ink and something else, so I wanted to make sure that I used my money wisely and paid postage one place. So I got, and besides that, I love to order from Van Ness. So that's it. Have you got one of these? Tell me what you think in the comments. And you know, it was monkey see, monkey do. I saw the little pen on Marilyn's channel, and it looked really, I mean, okay, so he's much more coordinated than me. Looked really fun, and I couldn't get it out of my mind, and so then it was like, okay, here's my opportunity, so I got one. So I want to know what you think of it if you're writing with one, and I'm just really curious. So I'm hoping to keep it safe, so it's going to go back in its little box right now, because if this stays out, the cats will think it's for them. They definitely will. They'll think it's a toy. So I'll let you go, but hopefully this was helpful in some way. Oh, I also put down who might like this. Tiny hand people. Yeah, okay. Yeah, if your hands are really small, or if you don't mind, you know, going slow. Because I tend to be a little bit of a person that rushes, so yeah, so that would, maybe if I practice slowing down, this would be a good tool for me. And like I said, those Colorverse bottles, that sort of answers that problem there if you're wanting to test out, because they're just awful to fill from. So if you're just dipping with this, it'd be easier. Okay, so I'll let you go, but thanks for dropping by. Thanks for watching my video, and I'll see you on the next one. I'll also see you in the comments. Bye for now.